Hey everyone, Andrew and Chris here. We have been going through a teaching series at West Village called Collision of Kingdoms, looking at how politics and the church intersect. And we've been taking your questions and we're going to give our best shot at giving you some answers. So today's question is it morally acceptable for a Christian to ever vote for a political candidate or party who supports abortion?
Gosh, off with a real simple one, hey? Not going to stir the pot of controversy whatsoever. Okay, here's what I'd say. This is, in some ways, this is a simple answer. In other ways, it's probably slightly more complex. It's, from a theological standpoint, it's simple. I mean, I think the answer is no. No, 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 no. The scriptures are clear. The Bible is, if you want to use political vernacular, non-theological vernacular, the scriptures are clear. Christians, the Bible espouses God is pro-life. He loves life. Life is a good thing. We see this like Psalm 139, where the psalmist writes that we were formed in our mother's womb, knit together in our mother's womb, that like from the very inception of life, we have what is called a life. And that's where all the controversy stems from, is when does life begin? Well, a Christian worldview would tell us that life begins at the moment of conception. And so a Christian, as a follower of Jesus, as somebody who ascribes to a biblical worldview, our position should be that it is wrong to take that life. Now, recognizing within that, there's a number of complexities like within that issue. There's like the political complexity, the reality of having to navigate how that works itself out in the political arena, especially in Canada, where we have actually, I think we're the only developed country that has no law on the books as it pertains to abortion whatsoever. And then on top of that, there's some complexity around even the circumstances around the inception, and that creates a lot of complication. Like, was this baby conceived, through a rape or through a molestation or something like that? I think our stance is still that it's a life and it's precious and it deserves to be to be given life, but we do need to recognize that within that it's not a simple answer. It's still a very complex and personal answer.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that there's this aspect to this question which is is focused around that political sphere, so a candidate and a party. And I would say, like, my own conscience personally, I don't believe I could vote for a party that doesn't at least allow for its members to speak their conscience on this issue. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we live in a country where virtually no party that has any kind of chance of winning holds a pro-life position. And so a lot of parties, their candidates are not necessarily even going to talk about this as an issue. So it's even hard to know, say, for a particular party that says, yes, you can vote your conscience on this, if that person has that that stance. And so I'd say for myself, this isn't like a cop-out answer. It's probably always good to ask those types of questions of a candidate, to educate yourself, but also recognize that sometimes you just don't have any options. And so your options between either like not voting or voting for someone who holds this particular view, I think you're gonna have to weigh it, the pros and cons, and ask yourself, like, this is one of many issues of brokenness in our world, and who is going to be the lesser of all the evils? And so there's a little bit of that. And then maybe to speak a little bit more even to the heart of like what it means to be pro-life, I think Christians have a really bad reputation of just like politicizing this issue. And there's something about being pro-life that should, if some of the reasons that this even came into inception, which is, there are sometimes an unfair pressure or burden that's placed on a mom when a dad walks away from his responsibilities, or when there's obviously two people who are involved in this process, but when a mom has to kind of take on that herself. And so I think for us as Christians, it's not just important for us to speak to this in the political sphere, but very much in the social sphere. I think Christians should be known, and are increasingly known, as the people who adopt kids, who step into the foster system. If we want a world to see that we truly value life, it has to be holistic. It cannot just be around political posturing.
Yeah, and I've heard some people say, we want to be pro-life, womb to tomb, right? Like holistic life. And I think that's actually been one of the knocks on some of the political parties that would tout themselves as the pro-life party, is that perhaps some of their policies they demonstrate that they value the life of the unborn child, but then it's after that child is born, do their policies then come alongside and help support? And so the other thing I would just add to this kind of in closing is that as Christians, it's not just the opinions and the perspectives and the convictions we have, it's also how we have them, how we hold on to them. And I think, we have to recognize that this is a deeply personal issue. It's a deeply contentious issue in our culture. It's a politically charged issue. And so I think there needs to be both a balance of grace and truth. So we want to hold on to truth, we want to hold on to biblical truth, but we want to do it in such a way that is kind of gracious and scandalous and just has the taste and smell and feel of Jesus. So, we have to work that out. There's lots of ways that it has to work itself out, and we have to trust the Spirit and lean on Him. But I think that needs to be part of this conversation as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.